Continuing our conversation here on News Talk with Nancy Florine. She is the new president of the Montgomery County Council. Phone lines open for those of you who live or work in the county and have a question or comment for Council President Nancy Florine. We'll go to the phones as your questions come in, and we'll post, of course, the number to the bottom of the screen to make it easy for you to dial in. Our number, as always, for folks watching live in the 11 a.m. hour, 703-387-1020, and I would love to get your questions into the conversation today. So if you have a comment or a question, dial in, and we'll go to the phones as your comments do come in. Let's not go any further without talking about the death just recently of a Montgomery County police officer, well known within the force despite his youth. And that, of course, only makes his death all the more heartbreaking. Just 24 years of age, Noah Leo.
We're just brokenhearted over this. He'd only been an officer for 2 years, had been an intern. His heart was completely dedicated to serving the public, and he was killed by a suspected drunk driver just as he had pulled over another suspected drunk driver. So holiday season advice, please, people, do not drive while you're drunk. That's my #1 request to the community at large. And, of course, this has inspired our legislators to look at what more Maryland can do with respect to penalties for drunk driving. Apparently, Maryland has some of the loosest laws in the state about this. So that will be on everyone's radar screen this winter.
There's technology that's been around a long time that other states have adopted that Maryland, for whatever reason, and we know that the General Assembly is chock full of defense attorneys, nice people and all that, but nonetheless, the criticism has been that it's no accident, pardon the pun, that Maryland has lagged behind.
Oh, it's terrible. And, this just is the tip of the iceberg in terms of the accidents that occur, the kids that are killed by drunk driving. It's such a challenge and a terrible time for us. We're really in mourning and will be for some time over this great officer.
How do you approach your year as president of the county council?
Well, I'm not a bandwagon person. I don't jump on the latest thing that's out there myself. I think the challenge is going to be keeping us on track fiscally, working through a difficult budget year as we anticipated at this point in time. And we also have a variety of master plans that are that have really become somewhat controversial, that are affecting the Bethesda area. The West Bard master plan and Bethesda master plan. So we're getting a lot of attention from those communities right now, and we'll be devoting a fair amount of the year talking about the future of various portions of the county.
Folks like you come together all the time on the Council of Governments and elsewhere to talk about issues and to press on issues that are critical to the region. None more critical right now than the success and recovery, if you will, of Metro, which is under new leadership as of just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, well, we'll see how this works out. Metro is the backbone of the whole region, and the safety challenges that they have suffered, the financial challenges, I believe, are probably driving some of this, are going to be ones we're going to have to face up to. New general manager, I haven't met him. We have invited him out to meet with the county council next month, and we hope to spend some valuable time going over the issues with him and making sure that he and the board understands how concerned we as a county are about the future of Metro. When Metro breaks down, people get in their cars, and they've lost a lot of credibility because of the unpredictability of the service. And not only that, the cost of riding Metro and the cost of parking and riding is becoming exorbitant.
And especially as gas prices come down.
Yeah, and there is an incentive to drive, that's for sure, and it's not good for our roadway system. We're not designed to handle it, and it's not good for Metro's bottom line. So we have to really focus on this. There's been talk of a variety of ways to solve their long-term financial needs. I guess a lot of people are saying, you know, show me the money, show me that you have a plan to fix the system and get it right before we start coughing up more cash. So we'll see how that goes. I do applaud them for not committing, the board for committing not to raise fares this year. I think that's important.
I sat next to you the other day at an event. I was privileged to lead a panel discussion with your county executive, Ike Leggett, County Executive for Sharon Baker, Prince George's County, and D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser, all under the general umbrella of economic development at an interesting time, because the region is starting to think about how we market this area as a region to companies and others in the financial world, particularly those with jobs, because of the competition that the D.C. region is engaged in with other big metropolitan areas.
You know, the region is really waking up from resting on its laurels from federal spending. You know, with the Great Recession of a few years ago, we're still coming out of that. And it was a real reality check for community leaders, knowing that we could not count on federal employment, federal contracts to generate the tax revenue that we needed to sustain our communities locally. So I think this regional push is really important. You know, this area is the best place in the world. We're next to we are the center of the free world. No place else can claim that. We have some of the best educated people in the world, certainly in the country. Montgomery County ranks 5th in terms of people with bachelor's degrees nationally. This is incredible. What a great workforce. And we haven't had to sell ourselves so much in the past because we kind of took it for granted. But now we are united in working to make the rest of the world know how they want to put their private money here for their private initiatives, as well as enhancing their relationships with the federal government.
What sort of initiatives are in place, and what sort of successes can the county point to as it markets itself?
Well, we're doing some really interesting things, particularly in the biohealth area. We just opened up a business accelerator up in Rockville. So they call it Relevant Health, and we have a couple of really funky new small businesses that are defining themselves and growing. Age Well Biometrics, which has to do with predicting a senior's likelihood of falling. Cheat Up has to do with developing programs for speech therapy for children. Ergonometrics X, it's an app having to do with worker back injuries. The Gastro Girl, having to do with a program for people with gastrointestinal problems.
And all this is tapping into
all this cool stuff is going on right now, and we don't tell people about it.
And a lot of it flows, and this has been true in the county for quite some time, from the insane amount of R&D, federally funded, much of it within federal agencies, a lot in the private sector. It's all happening, and it's all leading to these spin-offs and these flourishing small, medium, and large enterprises.
Well, the point is that this is a place where innovation is occurring. Certainly the relationship to the federal regulatory agencies is important, places like NIH and FDA in Montgomery County. But, you know, we've got United Therapeutics, Choice Hotels, Emergent Biosolutions, Sodexo expanding in Gaithersburg. A lot of great stuff going on as well. And we're going to work on our sharing that information with the community at large.
And I guess keeping Marriott is a big priority.
Yeah, it is. Those conversations are going on as we speak.
They've been headquartered in the county a long time. I think they're open to remaining, but it's clear they're moving. The issue is where, and can the county and the state team up to make that happen?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's an attractive. Companies like this don't seek to move all the time.
No,
so it's a plum for some.
Well, and they're homegrown. Many of the Marriott executives are Montgomery County residents. This is their home, and we're very optimistic that we'll be able to keep them. But we're working hard to make sure that their needs are satisfied. We have a couple of great opportunities for them, and we know the state is already very engaged in this conversation.
Nancy Florine, the new president of the Montgomery County Council, a Democrat. She serves at large. Good to see you as always. Come back anytime.
Happy holidays to you. Thank you for having me.
Safe travels. We'll take a break. When we come back, our Friday Focus on You.